bitterness, blame, and contempt, the emotional divorce. The impact that impacts trust, carrying the load, manipulation, boundaries, and covert contracts, the emergency poop story, erectile dysfunction, bitterness, blame, and contempt, the emotional divorce. Now, the emotional divorce happens long before the regular divorce. If you don't know, women especially, think about divorce for like 5 years on average. Welcome to the Morrow Marriage podcast, guys. And I want you to start focusing hard on your bitterness, your contempt, your blame. We talked a lot about in the last episode about taking responsibility when we talked about our big fuck up. And you guys, oh man, the amount of people, first of all, you don't even understand what you're feeling. Okay? I don't know. I hear you do this all the time with your women. We've had like 4 calls in the last week where I've heard my mentor speaking, where I've on my call been speaking, where I've brought some of my mentors in to speak with me because it keeps coming up. You guys, you don't understand emotional dysregulation. You don't understand triggers. You don't understand there's a gap between the trigger, which is the stimulus, and the reaction, or you could choose to respond in that gap. You need to understand all of this if you want emotional regulation. We call it emotional intelligence. Why is this important? Because long before you guys come to us with the divorce papers in hand, or various levels, or let's say wherever you're at, the separation, whatever, the affair, okay? Long before that, there is an emotional divorce in your home. Okay, there is an emotional divorce where you literally check out. If you haven't heard our story and what we teach, something foundational is 1 in, 1 out. We recognize in our own journey, 1 was in, 1 was out. If I was out and Kathryn worked hard, it was always like, oh, okay, now it's my turn, you know, and we'd flip. And so we'd never get anywhere. This is your emotional divorce. You put a brick in the wall, and the wall gets so thick, you become so disconnected that's why you think, is the grass greener? Maybe this would be better for the kids. What if I start over? Like, well, it'd just be so much easier. I'm gonna learn, I'm gonna take some space and find out who I am, and then I'll know. What the fuck? You didn't even scratch the surface with all these other things. Like I said, you don't even know what you're feeling. If you're angry, for example, that's not the emotion that's driving you. That's the emotion you're using. I said motion. That's the emotion you're using to drive you. But what's driving you is the underlying feeling, right?
Like pain, fear, something deeper than anger, right?
Yeah, maybe you don't feel like you're good enough. I know that's massive for most people. We don't feel loved. So we question our self-worth. So we get angry. Why don't you think? Why don't you love me like I love you? Why don't you try hard? Okay, so everything will trigger you, right? Oh my gosh, the amount of men that look for, do women do this? The men look for, like, the wife is the win, you know? So.
What do you mean?
So I sent a text and she responded. Or, hey, she was in a good mood and I statted her like you showed me, Cass, and so we had like a good cuddle last night. Oh, it worked. I got laid. Oh, it worked. Like she ripped up the divorce papers. Listen, you're feeding off of her, or in this case, I'm talking about her, but either one of you, you're feeding off of them to fill your cup, to fuel your drive, okay? So you're like super excited. It's working.
But then that's so external. Because then whether it works or not is based on your wife. So no, you're about to ask, do the women do this?
Yes.
No, I think that the way that you're communicating and getting along with your spouse is, you know, one of the ways that that's one of the indicators that you're, you know, it's working in your language. But it's not the only thing. So for women, I would say, yes, if their husband was nicer to them, or they had a good good conversation, or they had sex or whatever, they might say, yes, you know, we're making growth. But I don't think that I'm going to call it externalize it for the women. I think that they really focus on themselves. But men and women are so different.
Men and women are so different. Like the guys that come into the program, you're so focused on getting your marriage back. That's why the wife is the win. Now, here's the problem with that if your wife is the win, or your spouse, we'll say spouse, okay, then you're dependent on them to fuel you, to be happy.
Yes,
and if that is the case, you're changing for them. There's a reason why your partner says, I don't trust your changes are real. How long are they gonna last? Why didn't you do them before? I'm not gonna fall for it again. Too little, too late. I can go on, okay? It's because you can't wrap your fucking head around the fact that the byproduct is the marriage. If I'm talking about men, I say to them on the call, no, dude, the byproduct is what happened with your wife, and that's great, but what's the evaluation? What's the win? Where's the win in the man? What did you do? What tool did you use correctly? How long have you been showing up consistently? Aren't you proud of that man? Fuck her for a second. Because if you can't be proud of who you are, then if the wife is the win, then the moment that they're not happy with you,
then you lose again.
You lose again. All of a sudden, you feel depressed. You feel angry, you feel anxiety, you feel your worth, your confidence is all gone. Then you start acting angry. Then you start fucking getting triggered. And here's the fucking ironic part about it. It doesn't even have to be your wife. Your wife is just having a bad fucking day. And if she's just having a bad day, Kathryn has got a new collection, which I don't think she's told you about yet, but one of them is expensive and it's missing. It never showed up.
It's lost in the mail.
It's lost in the mail. This has affected her mood a little, okay?
Has it?
Just a little bit, like when you can tell you're
a little anxious about it.
Yeah. If the wife is the win in who I am, what I'm doing, and she's feeling anxiety over this lost item, then I no longer am who I am.
Yeah, just because I'm unstable, and I'm not saying I'm unstable, but you know what I mean? If my emotions are, if I'm having some dysregulation, if I'm having unstable emotions and that makes him have unstable emotions, then he's not stable.
Right.
You're not actually the man that you think that you are. You can't have your emotions. I teach my women to compartmentalize. Don't disconnect from your husband. Compartmentalize and separate. Okay, you have to be connected, but you have to be detached. Because if you attach yourself to your partner, when your husband gets angry, what do? You own that. Maybe you start fawning, maybe you get angry back. But if you can allow your husband to get angry without it affecting you, you can stay connected, but you're detached from that emotion. So that's what he's describing. If the win is your wife, the moment that your wife or your husband, the moment that your wife struggles with something, like apparently I've had anxiety over this last lost item this week, which I didn't even know about, right? I've been like, I'm handling it so well. It was a $12,000 thing that's lost in the mail right now. It's a big deal. But if my change in mood affects him, then what do you think is going to happen? We're going to spiral, because if I'm anxious and then I make him anxious, or my anxiety causes him to have frustration, then the disconnect happens between the two of us and we're both dysregulated. Now there's no win. But if he could just recognize it, which apparently he has, Kathryn's feeling anxious, this is why, how can I be there for her, and how can I not own her anxiety? And I don't have to fix it, so allow it to happen. Yeah. Right? You know, I was working on, I have a 78 Blazer I'm restoring right now. I was working on it this weekend, and I heard my mentors, one of my lords, one of my men was in town giving me a hand. It was super fun, super awesome. I love getting to know you guys. And he wanted to listen to the call with one of my mentors. So we're listening, and Prince, he mentioned, like, he was trying to describe it in this way. He says, when you have a feeling, that feeling has nothing to do with your partner. Nothing. That feeling is yours. You own that feeling. The moment you attach, the way Kathryn's describing, you attach and take on their feelings, that's not you. So you don't like how it feels, i.e. if I needed to fix it, I don't like how this is gonna be an uneven night. Oh man, maybe we're not gonna cuddle, maybe we're not gonna talk, maybe do I have to hear about Barbies all night? Oh shit, I just said it out loud. Do I have to hear about this all, like, and I start absorbing the anxiety? I'm owning something that is not mine, which disconnects us. Because I know on one hand you could think we're being more connected, but because we're in the same feeling, but in that moment she needs more from me, right? Now this is why it's emotional divorce long before you actually get divorced, because... Can I jump in? Oh yeah. I don't know if you've ever heard me describe it this way, but I want to describe how I tell my women to stay connected but detach in these emotions. And so I teach my women to look at things in a way that might make them laugh. It might lighten it a little bit. Like, one of the things I teach is to empathize with the craziness. Like, when your husband is dysregulated, I coach women, right? I coach men too, but I'm going to say it in the way that I coach. If your husband is dysregulated, you need to just take a step back and feel compassion and empathy for how fucking batshit crazy he's being right now. If you can tell myself, wow, he is nuts and he is in a different reality, it makes you feel empathy, and you can actually laugh at yourself. right? And you can remember, what did Kathryn say? Kathryn said, have empathy for how batshit crazy your husband is right now. That's kind of funny. It brings light to it. Now, his dysregulation is not funny. But so the other way I describe it is, so you compartmentalize. So I'm drawing a box if you're not watching on YouTube. And you're one box and your husband is the other box. So you're in separate rooms, you're separate houses. And I'm like, you have to picture your husband's box. When you detach your husband's box, he's fucking nuts. His box is padded. You're sitting over in yours. Yours has windows and you can watch the birds and you can watch the chickens in the backyard. But his is padded because he is nuts. That's how you compartmentalize his feelings from yours. So all of my women know, okay, I'm going to put my husband in a box. I'm going to be in my box over here. His emotions are his emotions and he needs a padded room right now. Maybe you need a padded room sometimes too. But the point is, you cannot share these are the two rooms. You can't share those emotions because then you need a padded room too. And then what happens when you both have a padded room? The turnaround time is so long if you jump into that box with him and you start owning whatever that is. So if he owns my anxiety over this lost package, then he's having anxiety. Now we both need a padded room. No, I don't think I was crazy enough to need a padded room, but you guys know what I mean? So you think of, you bring it to, you describe it in a way that makes you actually it humanizes your husband again because he's in a padded room. It must suck to be that crazy.
Now, all of you men, you're going to have to rewind it because as soon as Kathryn said, picture your husband's box, then all of a sudden you men went the wrong way with that. So rewind it and start again. Why is this an emotional, mine did. I was giggling for 2 minutes. So all of you have to understand this emotional divorce that happens. Divorce doesn't come out of nowhere. I believe if you really understand this, a lot of women, for example, think their husband only cares about sex. I'm telling you, that's just not fucking true. The amount of men that want so much more. It's every guy I work with, actually. Okay? And if you can just wrap your head around the fact that you both want emotional connection, I think women just need it to survive. But you see, as a man, when you don't know who you are, when you've lost your identity, when you don't have a wife that lifts you and supports you, that emotional connection becomes integral to his survival, okay? And that's why women were built to lift a man, to support a man, to edify a man, and just don't even know the power that you have. So now you imagine you both have this emotional connection that you require to survive, to get to the next level. Well, of course, that's your emotional divorce. Of course, that's setting the tone for everything else. If you both require it, and that's when one is in, one is out. That's when you check out, you ditch your responsibilities. You better cope with all your coping mechanisms. You better blame and fight. When, how many times you guys are Googling fucking, my partner always wants to fight. How many times have you said that to your partner? All you want to do is fight. I remember doing that to you all the time. Man, I literally don't want to fight. It's you. It's you right now. It's both of you, actually. You attach to each other's feelings and you disconnect from the actual feelings, knowing that you both don't want to hurt each other. Mm-hmm. Just own that you are hurt. Start looking at other episodes where we talk about going to the issues, not the symptoms. And you can repair this. It doesn't have to be an actual divorce, but you have to repair. You have to understand what you're feeling, how you're responding, and where you're going. Stop leaving it at validation. Most of you don't even understand what you are validating. It's the dumbest shit, okay? Yes, I understand where you're coming from. Do you? Do you really? Most of the time, people don't even communicate what they mean, what they're actually feeling, because they can't. It hurts so bad. It's so many little things. Until you guys wrap your head around this, day by day, you get further and further apart until eventually you are doing something that maybe you won't come back from, or just going for the divorce. And along that note, I keep getting emails and questions in the fan mail. Yes, it's never too late. Yes, you can have your marriage, even if there's a divorce on the table. Yes, I'll fucking marry you myself. I'm ordained. Who cares? That marriage sucked. This one sucks. Let it go. Mm-hmm. We didn't actually get divorced, but we have
we had an emotional divorce. By the way, I love that.
Emotional divorce?
Term.
Yeah, it's a good term, isn't it?
Is it yours?
It is now. I say it all the time. Right. I don't remember where I got it.
Emotional divorce. Yeah. We were definitely emotionally divorced.
Oh, yeah. Hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down.
It's crazy. I never even thought of it that way.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.